Now, just before the show today, I was busy browsing through some of the trending topics that are going on at the moment, especially online. And obviously the one that's plaguing all of the news stories at the moment is what happened in Manchester. And obviously our condolences go out to all of those who have lost loved ones in that tragedy. And I guess the bright side of the whole story is that I'm really excited to see this fight against these terrorist attacks are still continuing to go on. And I'm hoping that eventually we get down to the roots of these things, because it's really terrible. In fact, it's disgusting to see that it's still going on. And so those who are still following that story, keep the conversations happening amongst your families and at home. Another sort of trending topic was hashtag Travel Tuesday, as last night was the Tropika Island of Treasure Seychelles, and it was one of the elimination rounds. And I saw Zakeeya Patel's team got kicked out. So Dylan as well as Zakeeya will be joining us in the loft today to tell us more about their adventures in the Seychelles island, well, on the island itself, as well as some of their greatest adventures on the game show as well. And then we've got a powerhouse of a woman in the loft with us today. Dr. Zakeeya Patel joins us in the loft. She's got a PhD in human genetics, plus she's officially started a really cool online platform to help you guys find domestic help. And it's a really cool platform. She started with her husband, and it's growing incredibly well. And we're excited to unpack a bit more of that. So if you want to know more about her incredible platform and her life journey up until this point, make sure you stay tuned to the show. Bonnie's also on standby with another guest we've got in the loft with us today.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, South Africa. I'm Bonnie Mbuli. Standing next to me is the first all-girl electric cello group, the first of its kind in the world, and they're called Rose and Thorn. And if you ever thought cello players were boring and square, well, you've got another thing coming, because these girls are hot and sassy, and they've got incredible instruments to go with them. And the social media question we ask you today is, if you were to play a musical instrument, which one would it be and why? Welcome to the loft, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, very sexy instruments there. Thank you so much for joining us. And you'll be performing for us later. Yes. We're looking forward to that. Sure. So our first guest today was introduced to South African audiences as the young sister to Riyad Musa in the 2012 comedy drama Material. She struts her stuff on stage in Strictly Come Dancing and was the winner of season 6. Plus, she can be seen as a presenter on SABC3's Eastern lifestyle program Mela. It's the beautiful and bubbly Zakeeya Patel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zakeeya Patel. Zakeeya Patel! Welcome to the loft. It's so good to have you.
It's Zakeeya Patel. Guys, I'm not doing this anymore.
I quit my job too. We're all just going to quit live on television, walk off set. Zakeeya, it's so cool to have you in the loft with us today. I mean, we've had a chance to see you on Tropika Island of Treasure. We've seen you on Mela. We've got to unpack your story throughout all these different soapies that you've been in these series and these films. You're such an incredible human being with so much energy. How did this all begin?
Where did it all begin? Oh my goodness. I studied at UCT. I always wanted to be either an actress or a mermaid, and the whole mermaid thing wasn't really working out.
Well, you kind of know something today, huh?
I just need shells. And I went on audition for the movie Material to be the girlfriend, and a few years later I was in Korea teaching English, and I was like, what happened to this movie? So I went on to IMDb to check it out, and I was like, it hasn't been made, and then I went to check my email, and in that email on the exact same day, they're like, please come home, we want you for the little sister.
Oh my word.
And it's literally just spiraled from there. I mean, from Material, the Grand and the Material, J. Govender was like, come audition for The Wild. So I did The Wild. Then High Rollers and Strictly Come Dancing, which I won, and then Mela and Izzy Dingo, and now I produce my own show.
It's amazing. Yeah, because you're so young. All these sort of passions and desires that are within you must have been something that was birthed with you from a young age. It must have been so intrinsic to who you were. Because I'm sure you would have been a performer at the house, I'd imagine, with your brush in your hand, singing to mommy and daddy. What was their reaction to all of this, and the strong desire to go and even study something like this?
I think I've been really blessed where my family are also very much into the performing arts and the industry. So there was never a push of doing something, doing a real job. I mean, I remember when I came home and told my dad that I got into architecture and psychology at UCT and WITS, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, go do what you want to do. And I have, with all their support and all their love. And I don't know if lots of artists can say that they have that, and all the advice in the world and all their experience for, mahala. So I've been so blessed to have all that support behind me.
Yeah, it's a one less barrier to entry in those sort of spaces.
Yes.
Listen, I've heard you speak quite a lot about being a Patel and being typically cast in these Indian roles. Yet I don't necessarily know where you identify. I mean, your father's Indian, your mother's coloured, right? So, I mean, what about culture? How does culture play a role in terms of casting these great stereotypes?
So I always joke that I'm coloured Indian, and I absolutely love that. But I mean, growing out of, or rather into a rainbow nation, I think, post 1994, as a woman of color or a little girl of color, you're still grappling with what you identify with. And I think considering what was good and what was bad, you kind of push away anything that moves you away from, you know, what must be the status quo, which is what is good and what is decided is, you know, the best color to be, don't eat this, don't love that. So for a long time, I used to push away a lot of my culture and a lot of who I was, you know.
Almost like westernize and make yourself identifiable as anything.
Exactly. So, I mean, we went to an all-girls Catholic school, and I mean, girls are, you know, you don't realize it when people are like, oh, she's got curry for lunch, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna eat it. They're gonna call me funny names, and like, so it took a long time for me to grow out of those insecurities and those ideas about myself, and my love of my dad's Indian, and we've been raised very culturally Indian. So I do identify with being culturally Indian in terms of the food I eat, the things I love, the colors I love, the clothes I wear. I take my granny to a Bollywood movie any opportunity I can get to. She recently had her shoulder replaced, and I was like sneaking off to the movies alone. I was like, I can't tell my mom I'm not going with her. So that is a huge part of me. I do get cast mainly as an Indian, but I am half coloured. So casting directors out there, I'm also coloured. These are my real calls. Cast me as a coloured.
So what is your message then to other young girls or other young people who are trying to break into the industry, which is so pressurized on being perfect, on being ripped, on being all of those other things, especially for the girls? There's a lot of pressure on you to be a specific type. I mean, you've broken out of all of those and made such a success of yourself in so many ways.
That particular question and idea really does break my heart, because it's a huge, I mean, all over my Instagram and social media, it's, you know, hashtag stop body shaming.
Yes.
Because we live in a society where little girls in 30 minutes can see 400 ideas, images, and adverts saying that they're not good enough, they're not thin enough, they're not blonde enough, they're not big-breasted enough, and that kills me, because I think if little girls, you know, stopped, or young women and little girls used that time of thinking how gross they were and going to gym for hours on end and watching what they eat and counting their calories, if they spent that developing their spiritual landscape and, you know, studying a new degree, or, you know, finding a cure for anything in the world, you know, it would be a much happier bunch of people and women. And I think it has a lot to do, it's not only women, I think it has a lot to do with a system that subjugates people by making them think that they are not beautiful and they are not perfect.
In fact, it prevents a lot of people from taking certain leaps into industries like
100%.
the entertainment world, because they just feel like they're not good enough or can make it.
100%.
Which is so interesting. And I mean, you've got dual personalities. I mean, you've got such a fun, bubbly side to it, but there's such a caring, nurturing side to who you are. So let's shift our attention towards this fun, loving person. This new movie you're working on, where you are a crazy teenage mother with kids dating an older married man.
I don't know if she's fun-loving. I think she's the first. Her name's Amy, and she's the first character I get to play who's really damaged by her parents, by her past, by being a teenage mom, by finding love in all sorts of, you know, dodgy places, like in the arms of a married man. So that for me is very exciting, to play in the darker side of Zach, because that is what I am. I'm fun, I'm bubbly, I love the happy things. I feel like a rainbow is always bursting out of my soul. And this character, you have to dig deep and you have to go quite dark. So I'm really excited for that.
Stunning. And speaking of things that are kind of coming up for you, I mean, we can't wait to see that, but also your wedding is on the way. Congratulations. Engagement. What is planning a wedding like? What is it being like prepared to be a wife? How are you feeling?
It feels like the Mexican festival Day of the Dead. No, I'm absolutely...
Is it men, hey? I hear this all the time.
No.
On this show, I hear it all the time.
I'm completely joking, but not really. So it's just, no one tells you that it's just really stressful. You know, you think, you know, I'm a girl, I'm going to love this, the dress and the cake, and then it's for some people, maybe it's not going to be like that. And for me, I didn't take to it like a fish to water. I think it's because as an actress in the industry, you have so many opportunities to have your hair done and your makeup done and to wear beautiful dresses that this is not that special day for you, and you don't necessarily want to be the center of attention. You just want to celebrate with people you love. And I mean, my family's lost their minds.
Sure, totally, as it always will.
It's so strange. Like, they're all such collected people, but it's also our first, you know, wedding in the family, and they're acting nuts.
I'm sure. It's so. I remember with my brother as well. Everyone became obsessed with you and became like parents again. It's like, listen, I'm an adult and I do it myself.
I'm going to choose my cake.
Yeah.
Maybe choose my
Zakeeya,
cake.
you're amazing, and it's so
Thank
cool to have you in the
you.
loft with us today. You're not going anywhere though. We'll be speaking more about Tropika Island of Treasure, Seychelles. Shame. That one she didn't do so well in.
Gotta love Zakeeya, and from your messages, you all do too. Thank you so much for answering our social media question we asked earlier. We asked you if you could play a musical instrument, what would it be and why? And Sundal Mears says, I'd play the piano to create a beautiful melody. Of course, I love it. That's how you create music. And Iketeng Kate says, yay, it's Tuesday, yeah. And I would choose a guitar. I just love it, and how every guitarist I know rocks it, e.g. Zahara, Nati, etc. And Mabongo says, I've mad love for the guitar. I would really love to know how to rock it. It's super dope. Thank you so much for all your messages. Keep them coming. After the break, we get into why Team Zakeeya, while being eliminated, caused so much drama because it was lit. Don't go away.
Express yourself. Let's go. Yo, Anga. Carlene, where you at?
Let's go to the island. Stand together, you and me. We can win this million. We're gonna find treasure by the smooth.
Yeah.
The Tropika Island of Treasure Seychelles theme song performed by MT, Anga Makubalo and Carlene van Jasveld is available for you for download. It's on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Proceeds from the song will be donated to Chuck. You can also win big when you buy Tropika. Simply follow the entry details on your Tropika bottle and find the T's and C's at tropika.co.za.
Got the Tropika. Ain't nothing smooth. Ain't nothing smooth.
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express live on SABC3. Last night on Tropika Island of Treasure, Seychelles, another team got eliminated from the competition. And after a bit of confusion in the challenge, Team Zakeeya are officially out of the competition. And we're joined now by Zakeeya Patel and Dylan Reddy. So first of all, what a great season you guys were part of. I loved your energy between the both of you. And the pairing was quite an interesting one. I mean, the way that you got to choose Dylan in the process. Let's take a quick look at that dating procedure.
Which contestants are you worried about on the island?
They know my competitor.
Ah, okay. Oh, is he the competitor? Okay.
Well, yes, but I'll take him down.
And tell me about your tattoo. What is it for? What is it?
It's my guardian angel. I haven't met my father before, so that sort of signifies it. And the reason also, I heard he's from the Seychelles as well. What are you doing here?
What a glorious moment.
I chose you!
Yeah, I chose you. What are you doing in my house? This is an interesting pairing, because, I mean, was it the tattoo that attracted you? What was it about
Whatever it was that drew me towards Dylan was everything that I needed in a partner. I mean, I've said it so many times that he's the yin to my yang, and I know I could never have done half the things I did on the island if I didn't have him with me, because he literally was so cool when I was... I think people have now noticed when I was so hot. And I mean, I think if there were two people with tempers or two people who were hot together, it could have been quite explosive. And I don't think we would have done half as well as we did, or I would have done half as well as I did without someone to bring me down and to just be like, okay, it's okay that she called me that, and it's okay that she said that she doesn't mean it.
Well, there were so many moments on the show with those hot words. Let's take a look at some of the recaps from the season.
Give me a tissue, please.
The whole thing.
Quick, guys, this is a competition. Take one off. Take it off. Take it off.
Come here.
Where were you, Dylan?
It was only going in circles.
You just make it work.
Turn it around. Just grab it. Just...
Where were you?
Oh.
Zakeeya.
Please, can I just explain the where were you? I've got 8 pieces of wood when you're trying to dive, pulling you back up. So I didn't have anyone to give my puzzle pieces to, so I literally kept floating when all I need to do is go down. Yeah. So it was quite, also you're drowning, my hair's everywhere. It was a horrible experience.
But Dylan, from your side, I mean, I even saw that moment when she was sitting on the raft with you and she says, "You're making it worse." What was she like to work with? Because, I mean, in that particular scenario, it wasn't your fault. I think she realized then that, like, this thing was just so broken and going in the complete wrong direction.
No, man, I said make it work.
Well, basically, I knew that she was hot-headed at that time, so I just had to keep calm and try, get through this challenge, and let's just go through it. And by me also, like, shouting at her, it would have made things worse. So that's why I just kept quiet and...
Well, Dylan, even with you being the, yang to her yin or the yin to her yang, I mean, there was a chance for you to really shine in the spotlight there. There was that competition where you guys had to split teams. You were paired up with Civ. You guys won the challenge together, but then had to fight for bounty together. I mean, what was that like? Civ is so competitive.
I mean, getting paired off with Civ as a competitor, and then knowing that I want to take you down, and then getting paired off with him, we sort of went through the final, and then one-on-one, it was like, I have to take you down. I thought it was something that's going to be like athletic, sporty, but unfortunately it was puzzle. So I still said, okay, this is my thing. Got the puzzle right, and there we go. Civ is down.
Boom, and you got your bounty. And listen, it wasn't only time you guys had won bounty, which was really cool through the process. But I mean, let's talk a bit about your elimination. With all the bounties that you guys had got over the period of time, your elimination was quite controversial because I didn't really understand how that happened because it was just a mistake.
So what happened was you're looking for puzzle pieces under the water, and they have different colors, but there's a dark blue team and a light blue team.
Yeah.
And underwater, you can't tell the difference in colors. So after racing through without anywhere to put all my puzzle pieces, I'd collected all of Maurice and Michelle's pieces for them.
Oh, my word.
And a few of the light blue ones, but you couldn't see the color. So, I mean, I was quite sad about that because we did the work. We were already on our way back when we realized we had the wrong colors. But also, it was my total heart thinking instead of my head thinking. I was like, you need to give them their pieces, but I mean,
That frustration. You're in the moment, adrenaline is running, you want to get things done, and you're a competitive person.
The strategic Zach and Delon should have been like, no, keep their pieces until you get to the island, and then you've got the chance. But I mean, you've seen how Michelle screamed. She was like, give us the pieces! I was like, give her the pieces! And that was literally us throwing our chance at $1 million bucks away. So it was really frustrating because we know we played hard. I mean, even if we had kept their pieces, we could have gotten out of that boat, pushed it.
Totally.
And then.
But listen, it wasn't a reflection on how hard you guys were working, because you guys were a really good team. You won bounty many times, a couple of times, in fact. And the one time you had to inflict a kind of challenge on another team where you made them carry those coconuts on their backs. But that caused a bit of an altercation. So let's take a quick look at that altercation.
You have to decide right now which of the teams you will be giving a backpack with 20 kilograms of coconuts. The team that you choose will have to carry these coconuts throughout the entire race.
We're going to choose Bangs and Anga because they're two strong men.
The coconuts are fine for now. They're going to get heavy as we go along, but we need to run. Yes! Oh, really?
We were going to give you these.
You are not, I know that. I want you to keep them. No, you are not, Zach. You're not bitching. Almost please. Come on. Oh my God.
Sure, but I'm sure behind the scenes a lot more words were shared between you guys.
It wasn't great because, you know, you think, oh, we've got this, what is it, the twist, and we really wanted to keep it, and then you have to put another team at a disadvantage. And we thought with our hearts again, we're like, give it to Bangs and Anga because they're so strong. 10 kilos each is not gonna, it's not gonna do anything to them. I mean, if we gave it to Caroline or the girls, it would have been the end for them.
10 kgs on a woman would have been
the end for them. So again, we thought with our hearts and not our heads. I need to be meaner. But I mean, Anga started crying, and I was like, I don't know what to do
with the situation.
I was like, we decided who we were going to give it to because what we'd done to them, we also wanted to make it up to them.
Which is so fascinating about this challenge. This whole competition has been mind games, personality games, emotional games, everything. And you guys came through all of that. I think still strong people. You're both smiling here today. Maybe it's because the camera's on you again. So like, I must smile, but inside I'm crying. You added such a cool energy to the show. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching you on the different episodes. I'm so sad to see you go. And so I thought instead of just kind of like reminiscing on all of those, I'd love to show people some of the great highlights of you on Tropika Island of Treasure, Seychelles. Take a look.
I've been preparing for this island for as long as I knew I was coming here. I feel mentally, physically, I feel physically fit.
Team Zakeeya!
I was speechless.
He was. I hugged him and he was
like... I mean, we won a challenge. I'm killing this move, you know, like, it's like Beyonce.
That's the only move he's killing. The only move he's killing, and he's basically killing the rest of the dance.
I'm thinking I'll never let Delon pedal a boat with me ever.
You are so awesome, man. You always were doing the dance moves. Please, one more time, both of you, your dance moves together.
Oh my gosh, which one? How did you remember? That's the only... Oh, he's still killing us.
Right, keep it to the island. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us on the couch, and congratulations on such a cool competition and bringing so much joy. I can't wait to see both of you grow into the future.
I've only stopped dreaming about the island, like, recently.
All other contestants are still there. The joy I get in saying that. Now, don't forget to watch the next exciting episode of Tropika Island of Treasure, Seychelles, next Monday on SABC 3. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Remember, you can also win by purchasing a Tropika and following the entry details on the bottle. You stand a chance of winning incredible daily and weekly prizes, as well as the grand prize of a Kia Sportage. Find T's and C's on tropika.co.za.
Welcome back. What are you doing?
What do you mean? It's a Tuesday afternoon. I'm taking it easy. We're joined today by Dr. Zakeeya Patel, who started her career with a PhD in human genetics, but her entrepreneurial passion led down a different path for her.
Absolutely. In 2014, she co-founded an innovative online service that connects you with the trusted cleaning professional in your area from the comfort of your own phone. It's almost like an Uber for house cleaning services, and it provides work opportunities for thousands of women. Welcome to the Loft.
I feel like Bonnie and I need brain cleaners,
Yeah, we
not
do.
house cleaners. It's the two of us on a Tuesday afternoon. It's so cool to have you in the Loft with us. You're such a powerhouse of a woman. I mean, just your background is incredible. So take us through how we got to this point today. Because, I mean, 2 degrees...
Yeah. So let's just note this. This is noteworthy. You're the first former student of the University of the Cape, of the Western Cape, to actually graduate with 2 qualifications in 2 different courses on the same day.
Yeah.
How did you pull that off?
So I started off, I've always loved science. I've always been someone who's likes asking a lot of questions. So I started off studying a science degree. Really enjoyed it, ended up doing a PhD in gene therapy where I was working on helping with a form of hereditary blindness. And then towards the end of that degree, I started to think about impact and how I could have more impact on just ordinary people, ordinary South Africans. So I thought, you know, business, money makes the world go round. Let me study a business course. But I didn't want to wait until I'd finished my PhD. And so I went to the deans of both of the health sciences faculty and the business faculty, and I went to them and I said, you know, please can I do these 2 things at the same time? They were not impressed, nervous that I was going to fail both. And then I ended up graduating with both on the same day, and coming top of class in my business course.
Happy student.
So I was very happy. I was happy that I made it.
Everyone's like at home probably watching me like, you're that girl in school. Like, you were that girl, overachiever to the max. I mean, like, obviously your background in terms, I think you were born in exile, right? Then you came back to South Africa. So, I mean, it wasn't like all like sunshine and rainbows in the beginning phases of your life. So,
so I mean, I had both my parents very politically active. They were activists. We were, you know, had to leave South Africa. We were in Botswana in exile. But they always placed a very high value on education. And their thing for all of their children was that, you know what, you can get a degree and then you can do whatever you want after that.
And you must study science.
You must study science. You must study science. Do something, don't do something artsy, do science. But you know, I've always thought that it's important to have an educational background. I honestly believe knowledge is power. So it wasn't easy, and 10 years of studying and then having to tell your parents you're leaving studying to start a cleaning business. Not that cool, but yeah, you know, I'd put in the hard graft.
And it's not just a cleaning business; it's quite sophisticated. And what goes into it? Tell us about Sweep South.
So Sweep South it's a platform. It's, you know, like you say, Bonnie, it's like the Uber for home cleaning. But there's a lot more that happens under the hood. So it connects domestic workers in South Africa with homeowners who are looking for their services. My co-founder in the business is my husband as well, which is a whole another story going into business with your husband. And what we wanted to do was have homeowners find a really quick, easy, convenient way of connecting to domestic services. And then we also realized that there's so many South Africans who are domestic workers who are looking for work. South Africa has over 1 million domestic workers. And we wanted to find a way to help them to seamlessly also connect to work.
Love it. You know, what's the best thing about this is, I mean, it is one of those basic forms of service and work which you can earn an income from, which I think makes it so attractive for domestic workers. But if I'm not mistaken, there are a couple of other platforms that do something very similar. So why enter the market when there is already stuff out there?
So, I mean, the first thing was that when we started Sweep South, it was the first on the market. It was the first, not only in South Africa, but in Africa that did something like this. And then we also wanted to use technology to connect the two, but not just in making the connection, in learning more about people as they use the platform, both existing customers and potential customers, and try and use that to make sure that the platform literally starts to predict what it is that you want. So it's not just about connecting the two sides, it's actually about using technology and data to match people better. So it's kind of like a dating service as well. So it's like the Uber and Tinder.
So what's the value add on either side, the customer and the domestic worker? And how do you price it so that, I mean, do you then overcharge the customer, or do you... How do you do it?
Yeah, so it's placed at a slight premium, I think, compared to, you know, what people might pay on their own. But for that comes the convenience of using the platform, the ability to literally order someone to come and help you with home cleaning the night before.
Yes, because you've done all the background checks for them, you've done the training.
Exactly. So insurance is taken care of. If anything happens at a booking, if someone breaks something by mistake, we take care of that with insurance. And then for cleaners who work on the platform, it's a way to connect to work. So as opposed to kind of listing your services on a classifieds and hoping that someone will find you
at the right
time, at the shopping mall. What we do is we connect you with someone who lives close by, where it's transport is reasonable, you know what you're going to be paid, and it's a way to manage your schedule. And then the fact that we set rates is something that's quite powerful, I think, because a lot of people don't know what it is that they should be paying domestic workers. And so us setting rates and then also setting the price at a bit of a premium means that you book the service once a week, twice a week, you're paying a little bit more than you would normally, but each individual customer paying a bit more means that the worker gets a lot more at the end of the month.
Now, one of the biggest things that always pops into my mind about these things is one of the greatest challenges and barriers to entry that we've had with our domestic workers has been technology and phones and like how are they going to get access to all of those things? It's expensive to phone, so I'm getting lots of please call me's in the process. So do the domestic workers need to have a smartphone?
They do. So when we start off, and this has been the fantastic thing about technology and tech adoption, is that when we started off in 2014, we really had to ask that question, like, are people going to be able to come with smartphones? And 2 years, 3 years later, people have smartphones because of things like WhatsApp and Facebook, and so that's no longer a question. So in the beginning, we actually got contract phones, and we got 60 contracts for the first people who joined the platform.
Oh, wow.
But we don't need to do that anymore because people have phones. And then we've also designed, so we've got a cleaner-facing app and a customer-facing app, which you'll see in a little bit. But the cleaner-facing app has also been specifically designed to be super easy when it comes to data usage.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so and is there a feedback platform for both the customer and the domestic worker? So the domestic worker can rate the customer and say, I don't want to work with that customer again. And if that customer gets a lot of complaints, you guys just don't send any
100%.
Domestics to them.
And that's
Have you had a situation like that?
Yeah, we have. We have. I mean, I think, with South Africa's history, you do have people who see this kind of work who undervalue the type of work that people do in homes. And, we've had people, of course, who try and take advantage, who have very kind of old school attitudes. And that was very important for us, is that with the app, you rate the work that's been done, the cleaning that's been done, and that's fed back. But also, cleaners are able to rate customers.
That's good news. I mean, I'd be a terrible boss to work for. No, but on a serious note, on a slightly deeper level than all of this is one of my greatest sort of things that's sitting on my heart at the moment, especially with our domestic workers. I don't think it's anyone's life goal to end their careers as a domestic worker. And a lot of them, I don't necessarily think, get given an opportunity to think about what further things they want to do. Do they want to get more of an education?
Absolutely.
Do they want to work in other places? I mean, how do you, first of all, set those rates to make sure that they are growing in their own careers and at the same time train them? Upskilling them.
Yeah, so those are also really important things for us. So one of the things is that it's completely flexible when it comes to what days you want to work, where you work, who you work for. So it means that if people want to study or they want to have other jobs on other days of the week and still work with the platform, they're able to do that. And we've had fantastic stories. So we've had sweep stars, and we call our domestic cleaners on the platform sweep stars because we didn't want to use the terms maid and char, which we don't love. And so our sweep stars, we've had sweep stars who have left the platform, they've saved while they're working with us, and then left to study nursing, social work. One of our sweep stars has a Kickstarter campaign running, and she's wanting to start a restaurant in Langa. So we, it's really enabling people to move off of the platform. And then the other thing is that, we have over 3,000 sweep stars who've registered with us. And we have the kind of scale now where we can go to other companies and say, we want to have some sort of graduation program. So someone who's worked with us for a certain amount of time and who's done really well should be able to have access to other types of work. And that's not something that you necessarily get as an opportunity when you're working by yourself.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Amazing work.
Yeah. Earlier on, we asked you what your favorite instrument is, or an instrument that you'd like to learn to play and why.
I like the what is yours? What is your instrument you'd like to learn?
I played the recorder at school.
We all, I also did, and I hated it.
And it was terrible. But if I could choose, I would love to play the piano. I have tiny hands, so that probably was never going to happen, but I'd love to be able to play the piano.
All right, fantastic. So we don't want to read through one. Can I just read through one of these comments?
Yeah.
Angelique Cullet says, I'd like to master the cello. I love the sound of the cello. I've also heard that it's quite difficult to master. I love challenges and would love to take on a new challenge to master the cello.
Oh, that's great, right?
Yeah, well, speaking of, after the break.
After the break, we'll be talking about how to master the cello. Don't go away.
Sea Harvest. New look, same great taste.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, live on SABC3. It's a Tuesday afternoon and we're having so much fun in the loft, talking about all different varieties of instruments and exciting entrepreneurs in the show today. And we've got our next group of guests with us.
Welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
So let's talk a little bit more about the Rose and Thorn Electric Cello Trio. Exactly how did this come together?
Well, Rose and Thorn was actually Carol's brainchild. Carol is quite a pioneer in the South African music industry, and she's got quite a few exciting projects running. And one day she approached us and she said she's got a little passion project. She would like us to start a cello trio, and we immediately said it's a great idea because you only get to play in a cello ensemble with your friends if you start a cello band or play in an orchestra. So
true, yeah.
Otherwise, you usually have one cello in a group.
Yeah.
So.
And what are your individual journeys with the cello? When did you first fall in love with it?
I started playing cello when I was 9. There was a youth orchestra that played at school, and I just went home and I said to my mum, I want to play violin. Then my mum said, no, I think you should play cello. Good choice, clever mum, yes. And that's where it started. And
so you got a humongous cello?
Well, I started on a half cello, so it's a lot smaller.
You get sizes of cellos?
Yes, you get an
Wow, I
eighth.
didn't know that.
It's very cute.
Okay, well, you're here to educate us about cellos, so something we didn't know. So what was your personal journey?
I also started when I was 9. Yes, I also started with 9. I started with piano when I was 6 years old. My mom's a music teacher, and I think she saw that I enjoyed music. And then she started exploring what instrument I would take as a second instrument. We went to a concert of the Cape Town Symphony Orchestra, and we sat in front of the cello section, and I went home and said, I want to play that.
Wow, that's incredible. And your story?
I think it's very similar to Angelique's. I might have been at the same concert because my dad was like, you like those, don't you? God, he actually wanted to play the cello in his life, so he encouraged me, and it kind of works because I'm tall and it's a big instrument. So it matches.
And it's such an interesting little instrument. Honestly, like it's evolved so much. I mean, everyone's got this misunderstanding that, you know, like cellos are like these for old people, and we've got a cello shame at our church, which I love him. I love him to bits, but he's the oldest human being in the band. But it's perceived as
nothing wrong with being old.
No, nothing. It's It's aging, it's wisdom.
And that's the wonderful thing about playing music, is you can play it until you're old.
Exactly. But I mean, it's perceived to be like one of those classical instruments. You play in orchestras, you're the nerd, you're those sort of people. And you guys are trying to break out of that boundary. You've done it already and made it so cool. I mean, was that a difficult process to go through? Was it to take a lot of education?
I must, if I can say that, I'm a school teacher. And I must say, the perception of playing music is much different these days than it was when I was at high school.
Awesome.
There are lots of boys playing music, and it's cool. You know?
Absolutely. I think the internet, YouTube videos, people posting all kinds of things and talents coming out, that definitely broke the mold. That took it from only classical orchestra to actually anything you want.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So tell us about the electric cello. How different is it?
Well, this is one of the 3 red electric cellos, which we're very proud of because they're the only ones, I think, out there in a group, 3 red cellos. And the difference is that there's no body, as you can see through.
Yes.
And so the sound is achieved through a pickup that sits behind the bridge, and then that is sent via signal to the sound engineer, who has your life in his hands.
These are real cello strings, like you would put on an acoustic instrument. So
But without the body, where'd you get that resonance from? Because it's just a deep sound. I mean, how do you create that resonance with no body?
Well, I mean, the instrument itself is still exactly the same. So your strings are the same, your bow is the same, what you're doing, and you still have to actually use, create the sound with your bow, even though it doesn't vibrate inside the body, it actually gets played through the system.
What have been the highlights of your journey as a trio? I mean, does your uniqueness really stand out, and has it attracted a lot of attention?
Well, we've been very fortunate in that we've started our journey with a bit of a tour around the Western Cape, and every one of our concerts was sold out. And we've had literally like queues of people outside the door, which was just so encouraging because we weren't sure, would people like this new, unusual ensemble? And
exactly,
I think the response has been overwhelming.
And I'm loving this. So this is looking absolutely amazing. All the visuals you guys have created on this album actually are really cool. So what can people expect from if they do purchase one of these?
Yes, it's on iTunes, and the songs that we started with, it sort of came together very organically, and it's a little bit more sort of like relaxed music. We have quite a few new rock, faster things coming up.
You may use the word racy. I think it's racy things coming out into the future. I mean, and live performances as well must be so incredible to watch because it's such a beautiful sound. To have 3 of them put together, and it just does create a whole bunch of other emotions that go on within people. I've seen a lot of the comments happening on Facebook, and all of them have been saying things like, music itself does speak much more to my soul than it does to anything else, and what this does to you. And speaking of our social media account, we're asking about other instruments people would like to learn. Have you ever had like a side girl or like a side person, a side instrument you've always wanted to play?
A side girl, side person.
Well, I don't know.
Eventually, side instrument.
A side instrument that you've ever wanted to play? Like, I've always sneakily really wanted to play the piano.
I'm learning the sitar.
Oh, really? The sitar.
She's so cool. So the next time you hear us, there'll be a sitar song within our repertoire.
Are there all kinds of special effects that you can perform on the electric cello?
Yeah, so the electric cello actually opens up a whole world of new sounds and things that you can do. So in the show, we do a loop song using a loop station, and we put some distortion on. We do an Imogen Heap of our own version of hide and seek, and for that we do layers of different cello lines, and it opens up a whole new spectrum of sound.
Yeah,
that's
creativity.
incredible.
We'll read through some of our other comments that were quite cool. I've read through all of them, so you can have a chance to read through some of them.
Naba says, I would play the saxophone. I think it's a bit mature and easy to listen to. Zoleka Thomas says, the violin, when I see it, my heart melts. To me, it's like a beautiful woman. I have a soft spot for it. Whenever someone plays it, I cry. I can't explain how I feel. And Claudette Salvin says, I'd love to learn the guitar. I've played bongo drums, though. Thank you for your awesome shows. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Claudette.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back after this.
Live scratch-free with new Head & Shoulders African Scalp Care.
Would you call this an EP or an album? Welcome back to Afternoon Express, live on SABC3. So now I'm used to standing between two women, but three with cellos and all much taller than I am always makes me feel a lot more intimidated. We've got the Rose and Thorn Electric Cello Trio joining us in the loft today, and they're about to get into one of their performances. But before we do, the first song I saw on the album was called The Parting, and that's what you guys are doing for us today. What's it about? Who created it, and how did it all come together?
Well, it is written by a very dear friend of ours, a producer-composer called Helmut Mayer, and it was the first song. We went to him and we said, we want to create this beautiful new ensemble, a new project, and please write something for us. And he just hit the nail on the head. And it's going to give everyone a little bit of a breather from their lives this afternoon. It's not an up-tempo song, it's very soulful. It'll hopefully give everyone a little meditation.
Yeah,
and then they can go party later. But you know, it's a Tuesday, so we're just keeping it calm this afternoon.
So you mentioned that obviously most of the songs on here are that sort of mellow feel. There's a real sense that like it's a sanctuary in the middle of a crazy week and a crazy life. So I mean, it's a really nice space to kind of enter to on a Tuesday afternoon. If your work day's been crazy, if it's been manic, if the kids have been driving you mental, kids, if you're in the room, block your ears. Mom and dad, if they've been driving you mental, this is a chance for you just to sit back, relax, and enjoy some really cool tunes with us on Afternoon Express. So the Rose and Thorn Electric Cello Trio. Ladies, the stage is yours. Absolutely beautiful sanctuary on a Tuesday afternoon, live on SABC3. This is Afternoon Express. And speaking of these incredible ladies with their performances, I mean, we're asking you on our social media accounts, what instrument would you love to play and why? I know mine would probably have to be the piano, because piano itself, isn't it like the foundation of all music? You learn, by learning to play the piano, you learn them all. And I've never thought of something more opposite to me than to be able to use both my hands at the same time. I do not know even how to tap my foot and move my hand. I can't dance. So, like, playing the piano is like the opposite of what I can do.
I would definitely play the violin. I find it quite elegant.
Yeah, well done, ladies. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Bonnie,
that was gorgeous.
your
It would be
instrument?
the violin.
Violin.
I think it's quite elegant, yeah.
Right, so Sisusa says, I'd play the guitar. I have a big voice and I love the acoustic sound, so I think the guitar would complement my voice. Lindell Walker says, the piano, reading piano music teaches you to read music. The piano is the master of melody and harmony. Thank you so much to Lindell. That was probably my suggestion too.
Yeah, that's what you said. Maybe you actually copied Lindell because you read hers earlier.
Maybe.
Thank you so much for performing for us. That was absolutely splendid.
Before we let you go, I'm dying to know the name. How did you guys come up with the name of this group?
Well, it's a good it's a combination of the three of our names. So Rose is my surname, Rose. And I'm Angeli.
Anne is the Angie, and I'm Thorn. I'm Carol Thorn, so I'm the Thorn. So Rose and
Rose
Thorn.
and Thorn.
Oh, my word.
And then when it comes to Sweep South, what's in store for the future of Sweep South?
So we definitely want to look at providing other types of services. I think domestic cleaning is fantastic and it's something that a lot of South Africans need, but we would love to do gardeners, pool cleaning, nannies, shoppers, and then we also want to look at expansion, so expanding into other countries as well.
Absolutely.
But you'll have to call it Sweet South, North, East and West.
We'd
You
have
can't
to
call
keep
it
it
Sweep.
to the Southern Hemisphere. We'd be like... We'd
You know, this is terrible. This is terrible. But
very exciting.
it was such a terrible thing of me, and please forgive me, South Africa. But while you're talking about, like, it's a mixture between Tinder and sort of Uber for domestic, because I was thinking, like, it's not swipe left or swipe right, it's sweep left and sweep right.
Great. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you. That should be your tag along.
We'll pay your royalties.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be rich, Mama. I'm going to be rich.
Thank you so much for joining us, to all our guests, and thank you to you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
It's the cook-along tomorrow. We're making kottas, one of my favorite things to come out of Johannesburg, besides you if you're from Johannesburg. And Scoop Makatini is going to be joining us.
Scoop Makatini's in the his out.
So don't miss it. Good night, and I guess happy musicking. Bye.
Join the Afternoon Express cook-along tomorrow as we put actor Thomas Gumede and media personality Scoop Makatini through their paces. Head over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe and shopping list, and prepare dinner with us live at 4 p.m. on SABC3.
Another feel-good production.